Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Mine was awesome. Too short, though, but what are we going to do? That's how life goes. So, today, November 6th, beautiful night. Got a great story. But first, I wanted to go ahead and wish my sister a happy birthday. My sister Linda. Today's her birthday. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. So, today's story on a Monday, just a way to wake everybody up. Another accused wife flipping the lid here. So we got the trial going on right now for the Kouri Richins, who allegedly killed her husband, Eric Richins. Kouri Richins is 35. Her husband was 39. She's a real estate, flips houses and things like that, and also a author of children's books. Children's books. Her husband was had a masonry business, very successful, over $1 million a year business, doing very well. Big dreams, nice marriage. They were married for 9 years. Everything's going good. Kouri has some dreams in her mind about developing some homes. But unfortunately, the homes that she bought, the one she just bought and purchased to flip, was not a home. It was a mansion, baby. It was a mansion. Okay. So unfortunately, that dream did not go the way she wanted. It was a loss, a flop. It caused a financial burden on the both of them, causing a lot of stress. And as people know, money could be the number one cause of stress in any marriage, any relationship, or anything in the world. So it changed everything. So she started to plan a plot, knowing about her husband's money, life insurance, and things like that, on planning to allegedly murder her husband. And knowing that he had over $1 million life insurance policy. So not knowing that Eric, her husband, months before, switched that policy out of her name to his sister's name. Now, his wife had no idea about this, okay? Because she never would have planned this plan that she did here on allegedly murdering her husband. Now, she's saying she had no clue how her husband died. She had nothing to do with it in court. But as we can see here, the evidence goes right towards her. So she allegedly kills her husband, by making him some drinks that he likes, some of his favorite drinks. And it's called the Moscow Mule. Looked like a good drink if you saw the picture. Looks like a really refreshing drink. Now, I don't drink, but it looks like a nice drink. So she's allegedly putting fentanyl in his Moscow Mule drink to do him off, man. She's drugging him up. So allegedly, it finally works. He dies. Now, they don't pin it on her right away. You know what I mean? It takes a while before they can get the evidence to come out and say that it was her, because she was letting everybody think that he had some type of a drug issue and going to Mexico all the time, and all that shebang. And then her brother, which Kouri's brother Ronnie, and her mom. Now, and this all happened in Utah. Forgot to mention that. This is all happening in Utah. So her brother Ronnie was also involved in friendships with Eric and things like that. So she does get charged with the crime of killing her husband. Okay, she gets arrested. She's put in jail, and now she's on trial for the murder of her husband, Eric, by using pills, which is fentanyl. And the way they found out that there was ever any evidence on her committing this crime, allegedly, was getting the pills from her housekeeper who she said was her Mexican housekeeper, she got fentanyl pills. Well, she didn't say. The housekeeper said she was confronted by Kouri if she was able to get her these fentanyl pills. Not telling the maid what she had plans for. She just said that, told her husband had the problem and wanted some pills. So her housekeeper got her the pills. That's led to her killing her husband, Eric, the 39-year-old husband of 9 years who owned a masonry business, which was very successful and doing well. Okay. Her dreams and her plans took this down to a bad way. She invested too much money in this mansion that she thought she was going to flip and be able to make a lot of money on. It didn't work out that way. So she thought the next step was, hey, let me just kill off my husband and get this $1 million life insurance policy. Didn't work that way. So evidence, they arrest her. She's in jail. She's saying she's innocent. They're trying, the defense right now in trial today is a motion to dismiss due to a prosecutional misconduct. And that's going on today. Okay. All that was denied today, which I'm going to show you a clip from Court TV here in a little bit. But now nothing funny about this because somebody died. So I hate to say anything's funny, but this chick is crazy, man, because here she's saying she's innocent. Okay. But she bought the pills from her Mexican housekeeper and put this inside of his drinks a few times, his Moscow Mule that he loves to drink. And that's what she fentanyl them up, man, and killed him. So after the death and everything too, of before she got arrested. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. So before she got arrested, okay. And guys, if you know anything about this is Johnny Gunn's investigation. Hit the like, comment. If you guys know anything more about this story, let's chat about this. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Feed me some information too. But now, before she did get arrested, after she found out that there's no life insurance money. Okay, I forgot about this, man. This is important. So she found out that the sister's getting $1 million life insurance policy. So she's saying, "Shit, man, I got to backtrack now. How am I going to get money?" So she wrote She's the author of children's books, and the books are about how to overcome the depression and the challenges of losing a father or a loved one, a parent. So she wrote that book after she murdered her husband before she got arrested. Okay, so now she's in jail. She got arrested. Okay, and the trial is today. And while she's in jail, they find a letter inside of her jail cell that's stating that her husband Eric and her brother Ronnie were in Mexico together, and they would visit a ranch in Mexico, and that's where they would go and get these pills, and then come back with these pills from Mexico. It's a cartel ranch. This is in this letter that they found in her prison cell, named Walk the Dog. She ain't walking no dog in prison, but she was trying to get her mom and her brother Ronnie to lie for her and to say, hey, to admit that you knew that he was addicted to pills and you saw him and you were in Mexico with him, but that's not true. That didn't happen. So when they found the letter, she's trying to let her brother and her mom think that was just a fictional book that she's writing while she's locked up in jail. So she just backtracks on everything. But now her mom and Ronnie, her brother, 100% are on Kouri's side. They do believe that she's innocent, that she didn't have anything to do with killing her husband, Eric. But here, the maid comes out and says that Kouri came to her for the pills. So we're going to watch a film here from my favorite Court TV. And guys, message me. Let's talk about this one. Feed me some information if you have something that I'm missing or something I'm screwing up here. But I think I got it pretty much on the point. We got the real estate flip over the Holmes wife that went over her head to buy this mansion of a home. It looks like something that, a movie star would live in. And she thought she was going to be able to flip this home over to make a profit. Things went completely south on her. Okay. So now she had to think of a plan on how she's going to get money to get herself out of this financial situation she's in, on getting ready to lose everything that they worked so hard for in the 9 years of being married. Nothing worked out. So she says, hey, my husband has $1 million life insurance policy I know about. Let me kick him off, get him out of the picture, and I got $1 million, and hey, I'm rich. They got 3 kids, by the way, 3 boys, and they'll all be well off. Didn't work out that way. So she drugs him in his nice, refreshing Moscow Mule drink that he's thinking he's coming home from work. He's making a good living, $1 million a year, taking sips of his drink, not realizing this guy is getting wiped out by his wife. She's drugging him up on fentanyl. And I don't know what that shit does to you, man, but I don't know. I guess it can kill you. So it killed him. So she doesn't realize insurance goes to the sister. He changed all that months ago. She has no millions. She writes a book, author of this children's book on how to cope with losing a parent or a loved one. She gets arrested because the maid comes out, or the housekeeper comes out, says that she came to me to buy some fentanyls. Bam, all this is coming out. The maid's getting nervous. She's thinking she's going to get in some trouble, maybe deported. And she goes into court, tells them, hey, this is what's happening. She tells the prosecutors and the law enforcement. So now we have Kouri Richins. She's in jail. And they find a letter in there trying to cope up the story, saying that her husband, Eric, and her brother, Ronnie, were flying to Mexico a lot and bringing in all these pills from the Mexican branch that they used to go visit with the cartel out there. Bunch of crap right there, man. You mess with the cartel, they're going to come get you. Okay, so that definitely not true there. So what do you guys think? Did she do it? Didn't she do it? What's going on? Let's watch this video, and it's court TV, and then we'll see what you guys think. And after the video, we'll talk some about this.
She wants to link Eric getting the drugs and pills from Mexico, so we need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch cartel place Eric would stay at. Here's what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to talk to Sky at the meeting next week. Upon information and belief, just like they say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico from the workers on the ranch, but not to tell me, because I would get mad, because I always said he just gets high every night and won't help take care of kids.
That was a letter written by Kouri Richins. It was found in her cell. She says it's part of a novel that she's working on. Kouri Richins is a mom and a widow. She's accused of poisoning her husband and then writing a children's book to help children grieve the loss of a parent, like her children, her 3 boys who lost their father. But she's the accused killer. She was in court today, big hearing. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter is joining us outside the courthouse in Park City, Utah. Chanley, great to see you tonight. Big day inside the court. A lot was at stake. Let's start with the defense trying to get everything dismissed here.
That was the biggest motion of the day, took the most time inside this courthouse, but I have to mention the defendant, Vinny, inside. Kouri Richins, now 35, dressed all in black. She had shackles on her wrist and shackles on her ankles, which I had a great seat sitting in the jury box with the other media so I could see her up close. She had on high heels, some black pumps, and was still able to walk with shackles around her ankles. I was impressed at least, but she said very serious as her attorney tried to argue that her case should be dismissed because of alleged prosecutorial misconduct. Let's take a listen to how it went down.
The problem is the statements the state has made during the pretrial phase. right? The statements that they have interpreted, this letter's open to multiple interpretations.
Sure.
Right? And yes, we can get to that through cross-examination and
If it comes in.
At trial.
Right.
The problem is that there is local, national, global media where the state has interpreted the letter in the way they want and has put out to the world and all of our potential jurors that Kouri's lying, that her witnesses are lying, that her theory is false, that that's the problem. The problem is their statements and the way they've interpreted it, and the prejudice to her is, you can't undo that.
The court and the parties will select a fair and impartial jury. That will take longer than normal. That will take a jury pool larger than normal, an enlarged questionnaire, expansive voir dire.
Here, based upon the briefing currently before it, the court simply isn't persuaded that the conduct of the Sunday County Attorney's Office violates Rules 3.4 or 3.8, or has caused Ms. Richins a denial of due process or a denial of a right to a fair trial. The court is confident that it can preside over a sufficient or dire process to ensure that Ms. Richins does in fact receive a fair trial. For these reasons, the defendant's motion to dismiss due to prosecutorial misconduct is denied.
Denied. In your
You
face.
can see the packed house there
Your shackles
today,
on your
Vinny.
feet.
Lots
Back
of friends
to
and
jail.
family of the victim, Eric Richins. And of course, as the judge just said, for the motion to dismiss based on prosecutorial misconduct, that was denied, saying the prosecutors were abiding by all the ethical rules of procedure.
Fair.
And note to the defense, you'll be able to get a fair, impartial jury. We always do.
Definitely.
O.J. Simpson got one. Everybody gets one.
O.J.
All right.
Simpson's walking the streets.
Motion for a no contact order. The state was bringing that motion. What happened there?
Yeah, that's what started this whole thing. Remember, they published that quote-unquote walk the dog letter in the public docket and accusing Kouri Richins of tampering with the witnesses, wanting her mom and her brother to lie for her. Well, that's what started this all inside the courtroom today, though the judge didn't agree that there was necessity for a no contact order. Let's watch.
Here we go.
The walk the dog letters has several plausible readings. It does not include any threats whatsoever or any other kind of communication that would typically justify a prior restraint on free speech. Moreover, there's no evidence that it was ever handed to anyone. And the state has it. So to the extent they need to cross-examine a witness or impeach a witness with its contents at trial, they would be able to do so, absent some other ruling by the court excluding the letter or suppressing the search that found it. Moreover, the status quo is that defendants' communications with everyone, except her lawyer, are monitored. They're recorded. And the court's in no position to make that job easier for the state. So the court is simply not presented with a sufficient basis to restrain Ms. Richins' First Amendment rights. The motion for no contact order is respectfully denied.
So she can now communicate with anyone she wants to, although, according to her mother, the jail has placed a restriction because she did disobey some of the rules there with contraband in her cell.
Okay, any other rulings today by the judge?
There were a couple other motions that he took up. One was essentially obsolete once he ruled that the prosecutors didn't commit any sort of misconduct in publishing this letter and allegations in the public docket. Here's a look at those other motions. We have, of course, the defendant's motion to enforce the gag order and contempt. That was denied without much argument. And the motion to compel good cause disclosures. That has to do with this manila envelope that we're going to show our viewers that was found within Kouri's jail cell. And based on jail calls, Kouri claims to her mother and brother that that this folder contains papers of her fictional story that she's writing about her case. That, again, that walk the dog letter was allegedly a part of, according to Kouri, in these phone calls. And not true. Well, the prosecution wants access to that folder, that manila envelope. So moving forward with some other briefings, Vinny, the judge will ultimately decide what, if any, of the contents of that folder will go over to the prosecutors.
Fascinating stuff. I mean, it's so dramatic, everything she does. And she's such a prolific writer these days. Okay. I have an understanding that you had an opportunity to speak with the accused killer's family today?
Oh.
I did. So today's the first day that I'm aware of that Kouri Richins' family speaking publicly to the media since this all happened. And so her brother, Ronnie, the subject of some of these motions, he spoke to a gaggle of media outside this courthouse. And then I was able to individually catch up with her mother to get some insights from her. Let's watch.
Our concerns for Kouri. We just want the best outcome here. We want an honest, fair trial. That's it. I know her innocence. And that's all that matters. And it will come out. It's just time. There was no witness tampering there. Absolutely none. It's just bogus. And I think how he ruled on that was a good idea. It feels encouraging, but knowing that they were going to not win that, the jail has placed a no contact order, so I can't talk to her anyway.
I think they're going after that pretty hard. I don't really have that much to say about it. From what Kouri explained to me, it was just a fictitious letter. I don't have a whole lot to really say about it. I think they're trying to harp on that quite a bit because it obviously makes her look bad, even though there's several explanations for it. My sister, she can't even squash a spider. She loved Eric. She loved her family more than anything. And I hate to say that, unfortunately, she's being painted in this light for
money changes it all. Changed what she
really bad reasons, really selfish reasons, and so we've got to get through that. Again, I know my sister very, very well, and anyone that actually knows her knows that she's just incapable of doing that.
Well, were you in Mexico with her husband with the cartel?
Kouri's family clearly believe, Vinny, that the truth is on her side, and while they fear an impartial jury, they believe that she will be exonerated.
Chanley Painter, this is some story, will be some trial. Great to see you tonight. Thanks so much.
Jail.
Thanks, Vinny.
All right, let's bring in our think tank, Philip Dubé, Judge Gail Byers-Benchu with us. Judge, have you ever had a defendant shackled with pumps on?
Pumps or high heels?
Shackled, yes. Pumps, no, not so often. Now that is a feat all of its own. And so I suppose the defendant should be commended for that circusful act of being able to manage navigating a courtroom with ankle shackles in some pumps or stilettos, not sure which one they were.
Yeah, Benchu, when I look at this case, and she wrote the child's book about grieving, but she's accused of murdering her husband. Now she's claiming this letter, which the prosecution interpreted as trying to influence witnesses and tell them what to say, is really part of a fictional novel she's writing. What do you think's going on here?
I think there's a lot of evidence that's going to be bad for her, particularly those Google searches she did when she said she was asleep. That's one Moscow Mule that had too strong a kick, I think.
Absolutely. Philip Dubé, looking at this case, your analysis at this point, 0 to 10, 10 being very strong. How strong is the prosecution's case?
10. Absolutely. She's going down. This is the kind of case where you need to grovel for a deal. Remember, if I recall correctly, I think it started as a capital case. I don't know if the state finally gave the defense a letter stating their intent to only seek life. But the stakes are pretty high. If she can get a determinate sentence, 20, 30 years, she should grab it because she's still pretty young. That letter is very incriminating. She's essentially trying to get her brother coached to provide a defense for her, that her brother was dealing with the drug cartels down in Mexico to basically get fentanyl or whatever type of illicit drugs that he would need that would cause his death. It's never going to fly.
It's never going to fly. People, so what do you think about that one? Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you think? Gonna definitely need some help on that one. So she definitely got denied on just about everything. Did she do it? Did she order buy these pills from her housekeeper? Did she put those pills in her husband's drink while he's thinking he's out there on the patio enjoying a beautiful night with his wife, and she's over there poisoning the shit out of him? What do you think, guys? Message me. Johnny Guns Investigation, bringing you a wild Monday night story about a wife going from riches to rags. She went a little over her head with that house. She's a flipper. She flips homes, real estate. She bought a mansion. When you flip a home that's 5 times bigger than the home you live in, not good. With a lot of money you have to invest into it, so they lost everything. But what do you guys think? Do you think she did it? The brother's standing 100% behind her, even though that they found this letter in her cell saying that he was part of the cartel in Mexico with her husband Eric over to some ranch with the cartel flipping over these fentanyl pills and some type of a pain pill. And also message me about these fentanyl pills. I'm gonna look it up. What's fentanyl pills do? Does that just knock you out? What's that do to you? I don't take pills. I don't drink or take pills. And if it's not natural, I ain't putting it in my body. So, but the defense motion to dismiss due to prosecutorial misconduct was thrown out, denied for her. She is able to have some, able to speak and talk to her family on the phone, but also that's going to be restricted a little bit as well while she's in jail waiting her conviction of what she has done, because remember, the 3 kids now are without a dad, and now the mom is locked up. She ain't getting out. I agree. She's going down for this one. She's definitely going to go down for this one, because this guy wasn't in Mexico. He wasn't at a ranch. Who's 100% not hooked up with the cartel, flying and and transporting drugs over to this country from Mexico. Don't believe any of that myself, but that's me. That's allegedly speaking here. You never know. Let's see what happens. But as you can see, the court is definitely not coming up with that they believe that at all. So she's saying that she was writing a fictional book in her jail cell about her husband that she killed and her brother. But now we got to remember, now the 3 kids are left without parents. Guys, they're suffering now. They got to suffer, the loss of their dad, living through that with the mom. Now the mom is taken away from them, and she writes a book in between us on how to cope with the loss of a family member or parent. Unbelievable story, guys. Johnny Guns Investigation on a Monday. Hit that like button, subscribe, guys. Message me. Let's talk about this. We're going to see where this one goes. Beautiful day. It's going to be a great week, everybody. Johnny Guns, you guys have a great night. Glad to have you on. And remember, everybody be safe out there. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening, guys.